They say the African sun is unforgiving, and on this blistering noon, a tiny soul was learning that truth firsthand. Only weeks old, separated from his pride, he was a faint speck in a vast, harsh land. He was no king of the jungle. He was just a weak lion cub, crying out for his mother in vain. Every patch of shade was a mirage. Every rustle in the grass was a threat. Survival, for him, was not a given. It was a fragile hope that was slowly fading. He dragged himself forward on pure instinct, but the smell of his fear traveled faster than his tiny paws. The danger didn't only lurk in hidden predators. It also came from sheer loneliness and exhaustion. The cub needed water, shelter, and above all, the protection of a mother. But just as he collapsed, thinking he could go no further, the silence of the savannah was broken. The inevitable, with its maniacal, mocking laughter, had caught up to him. A distinct, foul odor in the air signaled the circling presence of death. The cub's despair was abruptly replaced by a primal terror. They came, a pack of spotted hyenas, with their sharp teeth and greedy eyes. They circled slowly into a deadly ring, each step accompanied by their cackling, contemptuous laughter, the most dreadful sound on the savannah. The cub let out a weak growl, the fighting instinct of a future king stirring within him. He tried to stand tall, but the effort only made the hyenas laugh louder. They began their cruel game, cautiously moving in and then backing off as the panicked cub swiped his claws. They didn't want a quick end. They wanted to mentally torture their prey. The situation had become utterly hopeless. Cornered, the cub squeezed his eyes shut, accepting his fate. This was a battle lost before it even began. But at that very moment, a massive, powerful shadow suddenly swept across the blue sky. It was a martial eagle, Africa's largest raptor. It was soaring at great altitude, initially viewing the scene merely as a potential hunt or scavenging opportunity. However, as the eagle flew lower and witnessed the brutal scene unfolding, a pack of vicious beasts ganging up on an infant, something shifted. In its keen, cold eyes, there seemed to be an inexplicable flash of compassion. The hunting instinct was delayed, yielding to a strange emotion. The martial eagle saw an injustice. All rules of nature were broken. The eagle decided. It stopped circling and began its dive, not to hunt for itself, but to protect. The terrifying speed of the plunge created a wind-slicing shriek. This was going to be an unexpected intervention, a great and reckless act that transcended all instinct. The fate of the lion cub was about to be decided by a force from the sky. The dive was not just an act of predation. It was a stormy intervention. The hyenas, engrossed in their cruel sport, were completely unprepared for an attack from the sky. The eagle's speed created a vortex of wind, kicking up dust and chaos. It aimed not for a kill, but for panic. Its colossal wings spread out, beating violently against the air, creating gusts that blinded and stunned the hyena pack. In those few, chaotic seconds, the eagle created a pocket of safety. It landed fleetingly right next to the cub, shielding the little one with its wide wings. The cub, completely paralyzed by fear, didn't understand what was happening. He only felt that he was no longer surrounded by fangs, but by a great, warm shadow. And then came the unthinkable act. The martial eagle, with its incredible strength, gently yet firmly, snatched up the lion cub with its talons. This was not the grip of a predator, but a careful embrace. It had to be cautious not to harm this tiny life. Immediately, the eagle beat its wings powerfully, lifting both of them into the air. The cub, who moments ago was lying in the dirt expecting death, was now flying, separating from the ground chaos. They soared high, above the ring of hyenas howling in frustrated rage. This image was the ultimate contrast. A ground creature, freed by a savior from the sky. The cub's world had completely changed. He was saved not by his own strength or his own kind, but by compassion that crossed biological boundaries. The martial eagle, carrying a not insignificant burden, flew straight to its nest, perched atop the highest point of a solitary acacia tree. Absolute safety, far from the reach of any ground peril. The cub had escaped the noose of the grim reaper to enter an unbelievable relationship. After the dramatic rescue, the martial eagle brought the lion cub to its nest. The large nest, carefully lined with branches and dry grass, was not a resort but an aerial fortress. The first days passed in confusion and challenge. The eagle had to learn how to feed a mammal, while the cub had to learn to trust a giant predator. However, the eagle's gentle care gradually replaced fear with trust. The eagle became an unexpected foster mother. It shared its prey and used its vast wings to shield the cub from the scorching sun. The cub, in turn, responded with affection and unique loyalty. He grew up in rare security, learning patience from the hours the eagle spent observing the savannah and learning to trust the strength of a family. One afternoon, when the martial eagle flew off to hunt, leaving the cub alone with its eggs in the nest, it was then that a silent danger, more insidious than the hyenas, appeared. A huge, mottled African rock python slowly slithered up the acacia trunk. It sensed the warmth of the nest and was seeking an easy meal. The cub spotted the danger. Though still small, he recognized the eggs. His unhatched siblings were in peril. The instinct to protect family, nurtured by the eagle, rose up. He let out a ragged growl, the first true warning roar. As the snake drew closer, the cub did not flee. He stood between the python and the eggs, attempting to scratch and bite the slick, massive body of the predator. It was a desperate fight between life and death, a loyal heart against a constricting power. Just then, the martial eagle was returning with prey in its talons. From high above, it saw the chaos in the nest, seeing its adopted son risking his life to protect his new family. A fierce rage erupted. Without hesitation, the eagle plummeted like a bullet, dropping its prey and aiming the full force of its steel talons at the snake's head and body. The sudden, intense attack stunned the python. The martial eagle relentlessly used its powerful talons to strike and grasp the snake. The African rock python, though strong, could not withstand the eagle's power and agility. After a fierce struggle, the eagle defeated the python, forcing it to release its hold and slithered down the tree in pain. The cub, exhausted but safe, leaned against his foster mother. That moment solidified their bond. They were a family, not by blood, but by mutual protection. However, with physical maturity, a primal longing also stirred within the cub. He began to look down at the ground longer, where the essence of a king was calling him back. The acacia tree, though the safest place, could not be his permanent kingdom. The martial eagle realized that now, the real challenge was not to save the cub, but to let him go. The lion cub, now a strong juvenile with a nascent mane, could not deny the primal call of the savannah. He spent more time looking down, where the nature of a king urged his return. The martial eagle understood. True love is not possession, but liberation. Its duty was fulfilled. The moment of separation took place in absolute silence. The eagle gently touched the cub's head with its beak, a final, tender gesture. The young lion pressed his head against the eagle's leg, a silent, profound act of thanks, deeper than any words. He bowed before his winged mother, then bravely jumped down, returning to his world. The eagle stood on the nest, wings spread in farewell, watching the lion cub's silhouette merge into the pride beneath the setting sun. The cub, thanks to the swiftness and observational skills learned from above, quickly became a majestic and wise predator. He was a king who had returned, but he always kept a peculiar habit. Occasionally, he would gaze up at the sky. It was a silent reflex of gratitude for a safe haven and boundless love. The martial eagle, from high above, continued to watch, holding a love that surpassed pure instinct. This story proves that kindness can break all biological barriers. The connection between us and the unexpected always exists. If this story touched your heart, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Have you ever received an unexpected grace? Share your thoughts and comments.